Welcome everyone to Own Yours. My name is Alisha Cooper Wells. I'm known as Miss Cooper Home Loans. I am here to make sure that you have the key. As you know, by now, KEY stands for knowledge empowers you. But most important, this is my grandmother's house key. And I walk with my ancestors daily, and I have been charged with a responsibility to help you reach your financial goals with my friend here, Chris.
Great friend of hers, by the way. I'm Christopher Pitt. People call me Mr. Pursuit to Own. I am passionate about ownership. I want to be able to explain and show you the ways that ownership can create the life you want by design. So we're here today. We have a great show. I'm excited for this one.
I'm super excited.
Oh, man.
And this, I want you guys to know, is because of Chris. Chris, his Pursuit to Own Foundation has really put a lot of time and effort into making sure that he brought the right relationships into the room. And along with bringing the right relationships, don't forget he's a developer. He got the houses too.
That's right.
So today with us, we have two special guests with the Delaware State Housing Authority, Eileen.
Yes.
Oh, got it.
Got it.
And we have with the Stand By Me, Miss Laura. Thank you, Laura. Keep it simple. So today, what we wanted to make sure that we talked about is how these two dynamic programs can help you reach home ownership a lot faster. Because we know it's there, and you may not say today, but by having the right relationships, having access, and the information, we know we can lead you through the door of home ownership. And I'm super passionate about it because that was my way out. You don't know, I was a single mom, living in the hood, in the projects, living in subsidized housing, really feeling very hopeless at that time. And being able to buy my first home, the process of going through, it was hard. But it also helped me mature and be a better representation of being a responsible citizen for my son and make financial decisions, which led us to being able to move out, own a home, and get access to $30,000 when I sold my first property.
That's a lot of money.
A lot of
what?
money.
30 grand?
And I want you to know at that time, I was a bank teller making $10 an hour.
Wow.
There was no way I was gonna be able to save $30,000.
Would you say that's life changing at that time?
It's still life changing. right. Because now that we do this for real,
real life.
Some deals you walk away and you don't get $30,000.
Most deals. Not to jump on your back, but this has been awesome. I think we share a lot of alignment when we're talking about upbringing. Same common theme for a lot of people. When you start seeing hustlers and people that are grinding on the way up, there's always a start. You got to know that. It's always a start somewhere because something about that person is pain, honestly. It's pain, and that pain has converted you to have a passion at the end of the day. So for me, it's always been, we never owned a home growing up. And my sister's in the back as well. She understands what I'm saying. We didn't even have running water, so Alisha had running water. So we didn't even have
running water.
So, as a child, you go through all these things. You're trying to figure out life and trying to compete with everyone else. And then you just starting to figure out the common denominator was, just to have a safe home. Number one, I just felt like people that had safe homes was just in a better space than we were. It wasn't the traditional broken family and things that take place in there. So, but I didn't realize how much ownership, what it meant to really change that trajectory for the rest of my family.
Is that why you're on the Pursuit to Own?
That is good. This girl is good, people. This girl is good. So yeah, that's when Pursuit came from. Like, you don't always know where you're going to go in life. You just know it's something. That's my feeling was. I just knew I had to keep going and just kept leading me down this road of home ownership. So to his point, I think it's extremely important that I never had resources. I didn't know what was around. So that's why I was talking to one of our next guests as well, Mary Ann, because I think one of the biggest things is we just don't know, right? It's resources there, but we don't know. We're so traditional to go to like a school. We want to be in that community and do it. But hey, it's probably like 10 people go and see that, right? But now we have an opportunity to get it out to thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. And I think the more and more we can do that, the better position we'll be for generational wealth for a lot of guys that's in the crowd tonight.
And for all of you.
That's right.
Give yourselves a round of applause for being here. So I want to say, first to Laura, Stand By Me. If you don't know, I am originally from Flint, Michigan, but my story really starts here in Wilmington, Delaware. I went to high school here in Delaware, and that program that helped me along the way when I was building with my son, because I was not worried about my credit before then. I was like, catch me if you can.
Wait a minute, there was a time you didn't think about credit?
There was a time.
I can't believe this.
Catch me if you can, right? And that time in my life, I didn't realize how it was so important for me to learn, but my children were watching and other people were watching, but I needed someone to hold my hand because my community and my immediate environment was not the place to get the resource. I had to go to you guys. So if you could talk a little bit about your program, and I wanted to say thank you so much.
And first, great name, Stand By Me.
Yes.
I mean, great name. I give you applause for that, but go ahead with the story.
Well, you know what, thank you. Thank you all for the opportunity to be here today. I am honored to be the Senior Director with Financial Empowerment with United Way of Delaware. So in that role, I have the great privilege of working with my team within Stand By Me. And Stand By Me is a joint venture of the United Way and DHSS. We provide free financial coaching. So what is that?
Let's first stop. Did you catch free? Yeah. Okay, because everybody should be peaked up.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
free. It's absolutely free.
Yeah.
We've been doing this work for about 13 years. Wow. We have 7 programs and 60 coaches and program managers throughout the state. We are bilingual and bicultural. So some of us speak English and Spanish and English and French Creole. Wow. And we really work on 4 main areas, which is budget, because at the end of the day, it really is as basic as doing a budget. What's coming in, what's going out. What are fixed costs? What are variable costs? Right. Let's help you to create that budget. But let's not just create that budget, let's actually pull it out, take it out, look at it, and work on it, because it's going to change.
I know I gotta ask you this. I know people are so excited to do a budget. Even my wife tells me all the time, Chris, you still gotta do a budget. I'm like, really? But that's important. It's still important to know what's going in and out, correct?
You know, it is. It's so funny. I never did a budget before Stand By Me. I always knew. I was like, oh, I know. You know, this money automatically goes in savings and this and this and this. But it is critically important. So now I'm obsessed. And so it's budgeting, savings. What's savings? Is it savings for a vacation? Is it savings to buy a house? Is it savings to pay off a debt? And there's different kinds of savings. There's an emergency fund. There's that just in case fund. There's, you know, retirement. I'm all about retirement now. Wow. So, you know, and I tell everybody, the day you start working is the day you start putting money away for retirement, because it's going to come like that, and you need to be prepared. And we also help with credit. You know, how to improve your credit, how to understand your credit, because at the end of the day, like many of you, I come from humble means. So we didn't own a house. We rented. Rented all the time. Didn't know what it felt like to own a house. But now, 30 plus years later, I've owned a couple of them.
Testimony time. Testimony time. I love it. I love it.
And debt. What is debt? How to navigate debt. How to budget debt. So my team, we work in collaboration with our partners, many of which are here today, our friends with WISFIS, our friends at the City of Wilmington, Chris and your incredible organization, the Delaware State Housing Authority. I'm excited because we've got 2 new partnerships, one with Nestor. They are a incredible organization.
Well, I'm going to stop you, Laura, because I want to break down some of the things that you've mentioned and make sure that you guys have good notes, because the word budget, as Chris mentioned, it scares many of us. Especially when you think from the perspective, I'm already robbing Peter to pay Paul. There is no budget, right? But yet you're here today.
So what kind of decisions do you make for budgeting? I mean, is it like my Gucci? Should I take a trip, or should I save?
Let's talk before the Gucci, right? Like, there's real questions. Do I keep the light bills on? How do I pay for food? You know, when you're trying to move to that next phase in life, my story, I was a single mom, as I mentioned, and I took a $1 raise, and I lost all my assistance. I lost my child care. They kept me on food stamps for $10 a month because I took a $1 raise to improve my life. And this can make a lot of people scared, right? Like, how do I move out of the situation that I'm in, that if I take 1 step forward, I take 2 steps back? How many of you have felt that way before? Now, what I suggest when it comes to budgeting, when you're putting the things down, I want you to write your dream budget first, right? Like, if you had enough money every month and you said, okay, I'm going to put $800 for food.
Now, how big is this dream that we're going to have here?
No, well, let's say a practical
There
budget.
you go. That's
Okay.
That's more like it.
But it is a dream because for many of us, we haven't gotten there yet, right? And we may say a big dream, but when I was in the situation, I'm going to tell you, I couldn't dream big.
Right. I just learned how.
The dreams that I have today have become as I've gotten more exposure and met beautiful people and engaged, but I could have never dreamed of the life I have now at that point.
Right.
So you could dream as big as you can dream today. I'm going to take that back.
Take it back.
Dream as big as you can dream today.
Right.
And put down what that budget's going to look like, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you, that's going to help you have the motivation that you need to put the budget together for what it does look like right now, right? To know what those deficits are, why you want to have good credit so that you can have the good debt, and make the ends meet so that when Murphy shows up, how many of y'all know about Murphy's Law? When one thing goes wrong, everything goes wrong, right? But I'm going to tell you, now that I have my emergency fund, Murphy can't mess nothing up here, okay? Because before, if I needed new tires, I had to take from the rent to get the new tires on the car. But having the emergency fund and having access to good credit and having access to credit cards, allowing myself to finance these without having to walk and get a payday loan, you know, and understanding that you're targeted for payday loans. If you don't know, based on your zip code, there's a thing I want you to write it down, Data X.
They know.
Data X is a company that's owned by one of the credit bureaus, and you can opt out of being in this database. And if you read the information, it says that for low-income borrowers, for disadvantaged borrowers, for underserved communities, that they target how they send solicitations to you.
Customer.
All right? So there are people who buy the information, and then they target you. So when I lived in the hood, I'm going to tell you, I had furniture, tires, payday loan companies,
having rims?
What's the
Not tires.
Yeah, rims, all types of stuff. And the check cashing places, right? But now where I live now, my zip code that's not the solicitations I get. It's Amex. So I want you to know some of this isn't your fault. Right? But where you're at today, we're going to give you the strategies of how to win at it, okay? So if you wrote Data X down, we're going to be following up with you to make sure that you opt out of that so that when you're getting solicitation, you're getting the solicitations that are going to help you to improve the quality of your life and make sure you connect with Stand By Me.
And
now talk about your two programs.
Yeah, and I just add one thing beyond mine because she takes up all day. It's great, it's amazing. But you know, dream big, but you also can start small with saving, right? I feel like that has been a really good way or path forward to get people, because it's discipline at the end of the day. You got to get used to it, right? You got to get used to, you know, budgeting, being conscious of it, because we're just not, even I'm not that great at it.
Well, you know, I mean, I love that point. I always say to people, I don't care how much you save, I just care that you save. Because like anything, it's a habit. Once you have developed that habit, then as time goes on, you will increase the opportunity and the ability to put more money away. It's about really sitting down and saying, is this a need? Is this a want? Is this a goal that I want to work towards? Is this a fixed cost? Is this a variable cost? You know, it's about, it's the summertime. Okay, well, you know what? When my kids were little, we used to go to the U-Picket farm. And we used to pick fruits and vegetables, and we would can them and freeze them for the winter, because it would save money, because we know that it's going to be more expensive. If, you know what, I don't go to the store unless I make a list. And I'm consistent with that list. If chicken's on sale, then guess what? We're having chicken. We'll have it boiled, we'll have it fried, we'll have it baked, but we're having chicken. And so, you know, it's about those little things that add up. And, you know, and that's what we do at Stand By Me. We help you to look at things from a different perspective of saying, okay, is this something that we can save towards? And if it is, let's do that. What a lot of people stumble with budget is not putting in their delinquent debt as a line item on their budget. And so they
So catch
don't
me if you
ask.
can. There's a line for that.
Exactly. But you
Who's
want
knocking at the front door?
you want to do that because
Right.
it's going to affect your credit.
Yep.
Right.
And at the end of the day, to your point of targeted marketing by predatory lenders, the ability to have a credit score which can say to a lending institution, hey, I'm responsible, I pay my bills on time, I don't overextend myself, because that is the interpretation of what a lending institution is going to have. Is they're going to see your credit report before they ever shake your hand or see your beautiful faces.
Right.
And so let us help you to put yourself in the best possible position so that you can benefit from acceptable and non-predatory opportunities.
Awesome. So if you could list your 2 programs, because we got to pivot.
Yeah, we got to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we are excited about working collaboratively with Nestor. They will be providing our customers with a targeted estimate of what your cost expenditure will be in your home. And when I say that, I'm talking about what's the maintenance.
Right.
Roofs are going to go. They only last a certain amount of time.
Right.
Water heaters, air conditioning, all of those things, there's a cost expenditure for that. When you purchase a home, you're not necessarily thinking, hey, in 5 years, I'm going to have to spend $20,000 to replace this roof. Well, Nestor is kind enough and is going to be generous enough to provide us with these reports for our customers. So it's going to be a concierge kind of service. Additionally to that, we also recognize that a lot of individuals and families are facing eviction crisis. And so we are working with Classy to provide eviction budgeting education. So individuals who are facing eviction, how can we help them to change that narrative? And also what are the services that they are eligible for? And our partners at DSHA and Classy and the nonprofit organizations that we work with throughout the state help us to help you.
Awesome. Well, that's the perfect segue for you, Eileen.
Yes.
So,
I'm Eileen Palmer with Delaware State Housing Authority. I'm the Business Development and Community Outreach. My division, we do mortgage programs, and our mortgage programs are for first-time home buyers and also repeat buyers. You don't have to be a first-time home buyer. Okay.
You got to start with the name. I love the name. How can they get to this website?
Oh, our website?
Yes.
Does anyone know what our website is?
Come on, you can't leave that part out.
It is, for the public, for our programs, is kissyourlandlordgoodbye.com.
There you go. See, I'm just
What is it?
I'm just kiss.
There we
That's what I'm
go.
talking about.
So the website's fabulous. On our website, it has a list of our programs. It has the maximum sales prices that we allow. For instance, in Newcastle County, we go up to $571,946. Wow. So it's very generous. We have income limits, and that depends upon whether you're using our Welcome Home or Home Again program. Home Again is for repeat buyers and also first-time home buyers whose income is a little bit higher than those that qualify under our Welcome Home. And I got to tell you, under Welcome Home, our interest rates are in the 5s.
Nice.
In the 5s.
That is absolutely. I will say this: what's really unique about your guys' program is the repeat. To get a benefit for being a repeat home buyer, because it's like, hey, you just get one and all the incentives stop. You guys saying, no, come to us. We're going to help you buy another one.
So can you clarify what a Welcome Again buyer is? Is this for somebody that owns a home and is looking to buy a second home, or do they have to sell their first home in order to buy another home?
Yes.
So if you could clarify for us.
So at Delaware State Housing Authority, or you could call us DSHA, we do owner-occupied properties only. And our definition of a first-time home buyer is someone who has not had ownership interest in a primary residence in the last 3 years. Now, if you haven't had ownership interest in the last 3 years, you're a first-time home buyer. Right. But like you said,
so let me
we
break
also
that down
do
real
mortgages.
Quick. Eileen, real quick. Ownership interest means, was your name listed on a deed?
Or
mortgage.
It could be a co-op.
Or a co-op, or even sometimes timeshares, right? These are all things that can have a deed associated with them.
Right.
So when you're thinking about, you know, putting your name on something, because many of you mentioned you've never bought before.
Right.
So when you're out and you're on vacation and they take you in that room and they're talking to you and putting that pressure,
Not the timeshare.
you have
But
to.
it has to be your primary residence,
Right.
and usually a timeshare isn't.
It's listed. It can be listed on their
Primary.
credit if they've never owned a home before.
So
they'll
they
check
have to
that.
actually have never
Lived in it.
lived in that property. But to your point, this is really good. Sometimes it could be grandmom, you're living with grandmom, and grandma says, I'm going to put you on the deed of the home, and you're living with them, and you're like, I never bought a house before, but you do. You have an ownership interest because you were put on the title, the deed.
Awesome. I hear a lot of
First of all,
right?
that's a responsible grandma.
Yeah.
I must say that.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
So our programs, we have mortgages without down payment assistance, and we also have mortgages with down payment assistance. We have our First State mortgage program. That gives you a 3% down payment and closing cost assistance. The 3% is a second mortgage. It is 0% interest, no payment due until you sell, refinance, transfer title, or no longer live in the property as your primary residence.
What?
So we've had people that they paid off their mortgage in
Right.
30 years and they still have this. We've been around since 1967.
Wow.
Delaware State.
So if
yes.
you can do a loan up to $500,000 and someone needs 3%, how much is that? 15?
Well, if let's just say we're going to do a VA loan, because
Okay.
it's VA is 100% loan to value, 3% of 500,000, that's $15,000 down payment and closing costs. If
Look at
you're
a
buying
$500,000 house.
a $300,000 house, that's $9,000.
Right.
Now, we also have another program. It's called Diamonds in the Rough. This is a limited 203K renovation program. And with that program, we're going to give you 5% down payment and closing cost, which is fabulous. We have another program. It's called Delaware Diamonds.
Nice.
That is $10,000 forgivable second. We forgive 10% per year up to 10 years. It is occupation specific. You have to work at one of the hospitals that are listed on kissyourlandlordgoodbye.com. You can be first responder, volunteer, or paid, which would be police, fire, EMT, a veteran, active military. You can work in the school system, a Delaware school system, school district, and that could be any position. Somebody could be a janitor, a teacher. So we don't do it just teachers, any position in the school district. And it's the same with the hospitals. You could have any position in the hospital, which kind of warms my heart.
Right.
A lot of the programs are for doctors and nurses. We're saying no, if you work in one of these,
Right.
you have to be, the employer has to be in Delaware, and they are employer specific, and you have to be with that employer a minimum of 6 months to qualify for the Delaware Diamonds program.
Awesome.
That is
You do not have to live in Delaware, but you have to buy a home in Delaware to use the Delaware State Housing.
awesome. It sounds like Elaine has options. People.
Yeah.
You need to get to that website.
so-
Right?
so
What
first-
is the name of the website?
Right. Come on. Man, I want to go there.
I love it.
And I'm really excited to hear about the program that renovations, right? Because there has been expressed that there's a housing shortage, right? But there isn't a housing shortage. There's a shortage of what they call good houses. But there's a lot of houses. How many of us drive down the street and see houses? We're like, it's houses out here. Or when you're looking on Zillow in the middle of the night and those houses that you're like, ugh, what noise did you get? You're like, ugh,
Are you
that's
looking
not.
at my project?
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. Let me tell everybody.
Now you have an option
Right.
using the Delaware State Housing Authority. If it needs light renovations, this can be an option for you to make it that beautiful space you want it to be. And even, as you mentioned, it may not need renovations. You just want it to feel like your space and to do some light cosmetics to it. Qualifying for the FHA 203K loan through the Delaware State Housing Authority, you guys are in that in this time, as far as I know, this is your first time doing that product?
Well, it's the first time that we're doing a 5% down payment and closing costs, right? And I did want to mention, on our website, under our events page, I do public webinars twice a month.
That's how I met you.
Yeah. I do them at noon and at 6 p.m. So you can always go under our events page, and any public outreach, if you guys have something going on, send it to us. We're more than happy to post it. We have a list of our housing counselors. Will you stand by me? They're fabulous. And I have to tell you something. I had one woman say, you know, I went to the housing counselor. I should have done this years ago. They were fabulous.
Right. So we got
Fabulous.
to close thing out. It is one thing I want to point out. Like when you said the part about really the missing middle, right? That part when you're targeting like the people that just work in the hospital, not a doctor, not making a lot of money. It's kind of like that $1 took all of your, any kind of assistance. I think that's powerful for a lot of people. I'm sure a lot of people don't know that. I don't know if you have anything in closing, but that was awesome.
So I don't want to close out because we may have some questions.
Oh, yeah.
Do we have anyone that would like to ask a question, a comment? If you're afraid, write your question down. I'll ask it for you.
Oh, come on. I love questions. They're my favorite thing.
She's giving out.
So do I, and I just wanted to say that we are so easy to secure a coach because all you have to do is call Delaware 211.
Easy.
You can call 211, you can text 898-211 and say, I want a coach. And we are here. We are here for each of you. And the most important thing, I think that is critical, we are all a team. Right. And we are all here to work together to help you, help yourselves. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. And we are just the tools that you need in your tool belt to help you, you know what, either buff and puff, like, I just love that, buff and puff. Hey, I buffed and puffed.
Would you love the general contractor though? That's the question.
Sure.
Right.
And you know what? Nothing warms our heart more than hearing another story about how someone got into their home.
Right.
It's
life-changing. It really
fabulous.
Is. And I think we're accomplishing our goal, like really, like I said, really bring these resources together to show we're not in a silo, like you can actually work together with people and just piggyback on her. Coaching is great, guys. You don't have to be in a terrible position to get coaching. Matter of fact, you just like going back to the gym, you just need to tune up a little bit. Get a little financial tune up, call her up, see how she's doing, because it's important, because she knows she's in London every day. Like when that paperwork comes, it comes fast, and it might be overwhelming for you, but if you already have the discipline and kind of know what's going on, it's really not bad at all. And that thing, and you got people that are, they understand you're not perfect today. Their goal is to get you where you got to go, and I love that. And
if you're embarrassed to go in front of the lender first, right? You're like, I don't want the lender to see where I am today. This can be a great opportunity to take that first step where you have someone that is there to coach you, talk to you, really get to know what your motivation and what your goals are. And they'll help you through that process first before they turn you over to the lender that wants everything but your firstborn.
And on our website, we do have a list. We have approved partners, our lender partners. That's who you call and get the information about our programs. They will guide you.
Yeah. And you can always visit us at www.standbymede.org. Right. And we are happy to be of service.
All right.
Well, I want to say thank you so much. Is there anything else you would like to leave our audience with today?
You know what? Thank you for having me. We really appreciate the opportunity to talk about our programs.
Absolutely. Thank you so very, very much for the opportunity to be here and to be of service, because that's really what we want to do. Is we want to be of service.
Round of applause for them. Great job, guys.
All right. Well, my name's Alisha Cooper Wells. I'm known as Miss Cooper Home Loans. Thank you for tuning in with Chris and myself, Own Yours. And this special event was brought to you by the Pursuit to Own Foundation.
As you said, tune in to Own Yours. We air every week, but more importantly, thank you guys. We really appreciate it. We actually here to help, and anything we can do to put you on a better path to financial independence or generational wealth, we're here to do it. So next time.
Awesome.